What is up, YouTube? It is Dr. Style Gaming, or DSG, and we are back at it again with another Anthem video for you all today. And on today's video, we're going to be covering some more questions that Mark Dare himself on Twitter has answered. And most of it is going to be a bunch of new information that he kind of covered as well. So this video is going to be kind of short because I don't have too many things, but most of everything that he did answer is new information. So that's pretty cool. So I'm not going to waste anybody's time and get straight into the video. So first and foremost, I'm going to start off this video with the same exact thing I started off the last one about. And it's the question about other additions to Anthem. Guys, there's no other editions of Anthem. It's just the standard edition, Legion of Dawn edition. People keep asking him if there's other editions of the game, physical collector's editions. No. No. There's no other editions. There's two editions of the game, and it's the regular, the standard, and the Legion of Dawn. Like I said, I don't know why that's the most asked question, but it is, and I'm pretty sure he's getting sick of it, and I don't want him to stop answering questions for people. So stop asking him these questions. I doubt, like I said again, I doubt it's the people watching this video because y'all watch it, y'all know. But man, spread the word. We got to stop asking this man these questions. All right, now next is a bit of new information, and they were talking about in-game gear, like in terms of raids. Would there be other activities to get in-game gear, or would it be specifically tied to raids or whatnot? And he did have to say that different activities are optimal for different things, meaning you can get in-game gear, or most likely will be able to get in-game gear from different in-game activities. It won't be tied to one thing, similar to how Destiny is, where it's, you just do the raid and then boom, you get your high level gear from that, or you do like Nightfall once a week and you could get one piece of gear or something like that. So I'm glad that they're doing this, that there'll be different ways for it in the game. My only issue is that I hope they don't halt progression similar to how Destiny does. Like, whereas if you were to complete the raid, you get gear, and then once you complete the raid, you can't get any more gear for the rest of the week. Same with the Nightfall. You complete the Nightfall once, you don't get any more higher level gear for the rest of the week. I feel like in games like this, looter shooter games, or games where it's all about loot, they shouldn't halt progression. If you want to grind to your max power level, that should be up to you. It shouldn't be up to the game to be like, no, we'll only let you grind up to this much per week. I feel like we should be able to grind how fast we want to grind. Plus, it's also kind of a negative thing for games to do that whenever newer players start joining in late in game, because then they're stuck behind progression walls, and it's going to take them a longer time to catch up to people who have been playing for a while as well. So I'm cool with them having different gear and different in-game activities. I just hope that it's not going to be like a progression lock type of thing. So that's a bit of new information that was shown and talked about. Now, this was something else that was, it's kind of old information, but it was just asked in a new way, essentially. So we know that we'll be getting our health regen from orbs, and our shields will regen over time. Now, and we know we'll be doing this in-game and missions, everything like that. Now, the question was asked, is it going to be the same out of combat rather than in combat? And yes, it's still going to be the same. So even when you're out of combat, open world, things like that, you're still going to need to pick up orbs to regen your health, and your shields are still going to regen over time. So that is that. Now, next bit of information, and I kind of covered this before, they did say that there's no set order to unlocking javelins. Now, we all know that when we start the game, we're going to start off with the Ranger Javelin, and we will be able to pick any of the javelins, according to him, at will, which we kind of knew as well. And what I'm assuming people are going to start doing when this happens, because we know there's a gear bias system in place, I feel like most people are just going to pick their mains and play most of the game with their main javelin, just so they can get gear for that javelin and don't have to worry about unlocking the other two and then diluting the loot pool with gear from three other javelins outside of the one that they're trying to get. So I feel like for people who are all about collecting gear for their specific javelin, they'll probably play most of the game with the one javelin until they get all the gear that they want, and then they may unlock them a little later on or something like that. Just so while they're playing the game, they'll only be getting gear for their ranger and then their main javelin. So that's just what I assume people are going to do because of this. I might do this, not going to lie, but we'll see. Plus, on a side note to this too, unlocking javelins you'll be able to, there's no set order to unlocking the other javelins. They did say it's going to be pretty easy, and I covered this in a previous video, but they said it's going to be pretty easy to know what mission is for what javelin. Like, you're not going to be going to a mission and then by the time you complete it, you'll be like, oh, I didn't want that javelin. They said the descriptions for each of the mission are pretty self-explanatory, so you'll know what javelin you're going for before you even start the mission itself. So there's that. Now, this is, I guess, a kind of a bit new information. They were asking about damage output and if everybody will deal the same damage output, but if there will be different mods and things like that that will help increase the damage. And what Mark Dara had to say on the subject, essentially, was that gear will determine these things. And we know in the game, and I covered this in a previous video as well, that I believe it was in a tweet by, it might have been Mark Dara, but I covered this in another video, so you could probably check it out there. But according to the game, like how Destiny has power level or light level, according to Anthem, it's going to be called gear power, and that's how we're going to be dealing extra damage. That'll be how certain missions, because we know some of them will be locked behind certain levels or gear power levels. So apparently our gear is going to determine how strong our characters actually are, how much damage they deal, and how much output damage that they actually deal in game. So that's what he had to say on that subject in terms of, will everybody be doing the same amount of damage? And probably at the start everybody will, but as players start getting newer gear, stronger gear, better gear by playing the game, damage will start to fluctuate and you'll be able to tell the difference as your gear power increases in the game. So that is that. Next, the next bit of information, which isn't new information too much, but it's, I guess, in a way. They were asked if you'd be able to play alone in the game, and we do know, yes, you can play alone. In missions, you'll be alone. Nobody else will be there with you. They won't be around you, nothing like that. But in free play, even if you are solo, in the open world, there still will be 3 other players that will appear in the open world area with you. Like, they probably won't be by you, but they'll appear on the same server in that open world with you as well. But when you do missions, there won't be 3 other players there. It'll just be yourself doing that mission. So, I guess that's, there for all the people who are looking to play solo. If you want to, you can. There's the option for you to do so. Next bit of new information was talking about switching melee weapons. By switching melee weapons, they were asking if we'd be able to have different or multiple melee weapons. Now, his reply to this was not at launch, and it makes sense because they kind of covered this in the Q&A, I believe, as well, and they covered this on Twitter too, but they did say they were thinking about implementing something similar to this, whether it be adding like a hammer for the Colossus, or just different melee weapons and things like that. So it's something that they're probably looking into, and they probably will put in the game, but at the moment they said not at launch. So that doesn't surprise me. And I guess on a side note too, I haven't actually covered this in any of my videos outside of the fact that they said there would be a sword melee in the game. And when digging through some of the concept art for the game, we actually see an Interceptor. It's a reddish pink Interceptor. I'll put it on the screen for you right now. And he appears to have either a small sword or a dagger, but that might be the melee weapon, and kind of what we assumed who would have the sword as well was the Interceptor. So, I mean, I won't say it's 100% confirmation because it is concept art, but it's probably likely, and especially considering we know there's going to be a cloaking mechanic in the game, and I personally feel like that would go to the Interceptor with a name like that, and then especially if there's a sword or dagger. I mean, sneaking up behind people in Viz, stealth killing them. I feel like that's something that would be perfect for the Interceptor. But there is that concept art image of the Interceptor with the sword or dagger-like weapon in the game. And like I said, I never actually covered that on the channel. So there's the image of that for you all. I thought that was cool, and I just wanted to point that out and put it in a video. Now, the next bit of information, and is a bit of new information about the skill trees. I kind of teased-ish about multiple skill trees in the last video, but I didn't really go into too much detail. Well, he kind of gave us a bit more information about it. because he was asked a question, and he said that we'll have different choices and options for the skill trees. Because when asked if it would be similar to something where you just level up and you just keep unlocking nodes on the tree, apparently we'll be able to select different options or branches from the skill tree itself, and we kind of know this from the start too, because even John Warner talked about it in multiple interviews, saying that, and I covered this in a John Warner video, that you'll be able to respec your skill points at any time. It'll be a cost that'll apply to them, but you can respec them, meaning that you can kind of mix and match where you want your skill points to go on your freelancer. So that is that, and I'm happy that that's going to be a thing, because I'm glad it's not going to be a Destiny situation where it's like, oh, here are skill points, but you can only pick these 4 at the bottom or these 4 at the top. I'm glad that they'll let you mix and match. So that'll be cool and give you a bit more customization for your freelancer. Thus, also more customization for your javelin, because your freelancer's perks transfer to your javelin as well, because that's how you'll be able to get more time flying, more time staying underwater, different things like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, this was something that was pretty interesting, and I'm kind of interested that, or it's interesting that he replied to this. They were asking about PvE content if there would be any new PvE content that could possibly have more than 4 players. And I know in the previous videos, a lot of people were kind of upset that only 4 people would be in servers, things like that. And all he had to say to that was not at launch. So possibly BioWare probably might be listening. I won't say, maybe not to this channel, but they may be listening and may be seeing that people want to do things on more than 4 people. So it could be something as interesting that when asked about more than 4 people and different PvE content in the game, he didn't actually say no, or it's not in the plans, or anything like that. He just said not at launch. So that could be something that they implement in the game. We could possibly be getting some new content later down the road that'll let us have more than 4 people, possibly 8 people, similar to how Warframe's old raids used to let you have 8 players in there, something like that. That would be cool. Even 6 people would be nice. But that'll be interesting to see if there'll be PvE content later down the road that'll let you have more than 4 players. Now, this next bit of information is kind of cool, and I guess you'd expect a game from BioWare to come with something like this, but he did confirm that there will be Easter eggs in the game. So he said you kind of should have expected that, but he did go on to confirm it. So I'm wondering if it's going to be just all BioWare related Easter eggs. So maybe Dragon Age type Easter eggs, Knights of the Old Republic Easter eggs, whether it be name drops or like items in the world. Or it'd be cool if it was just any EA property too that they have IPs for, that they could do something like that for. That'd be pretty interesting. But there will be Easter eggs in the game. So, you know, look out for that for all you people who like making Easter egg videos or just finding out different Easter eggs in the game. I thought that was pretty cool. Next bit of information was talking about cosmetics and hitboxes. Now, we know that you'll be able to change the geometry of your javelin, so everybody's javelin will essentially look slightly different depending on how you change the geometry of your armor. And when asked about will it change your hitboxes, though, because you can change the geometry of it, and one of the examples he gave was changing your helmet's geometry. Would it make your hitbox smaller? And he pretty much said that no, it won't. But that is something cool that would have been cool to see, but I understand why they didn't do that. There'd be a lot of fine-tuning to implement in the game for just small geometry tweaks, you know, changing hitboxes. But I thought that was something cool to take note of, because that was something that hadn't been asked. So that was a bit of new information. Now, this was something that was talked about already too, and he just went on to confirm it, was yes, there will be multiple loadouts in the game. We know that for different presets for your javelins, weapons, gear. So if you want to just, you know, auto select the loadout that you have for probably free roam, or if you want to auto select one for, you know, something else, you can do that if you want to. So there are multiple loadouts in the game for those, you know, for people who want to just, you know, switch to their javelins, their right loadout, and go out and do a mission or free roam, explore, anything like that. Next, they were talking about guns with scopes, and he went on and pretty much said, yes, there will be guns with scopes. We know this. They've already confirmed that, yes, snipers will be in the game. And it kind of looks like interceptors will have snipers as well. But that wasn't, mentioned in this. But in one of my previous videos where I covered snipers, it made it seem like snipers were going to be an interceptor thing. But he kind of just double confirmed that, yes, snipers will be in the game. And possibly just other weapons in the game that will have scopes too. So it's not going to be always third person. We'll probably be able to zoom in for certain things. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. And a lot of people were asking questions like that, weapons with scopes or weapons or snipers in the game. So like I said, this is just a double confirmation of that. And the last 2 bits of information that was talked about was in-game mission stats, and he went on to confirm that yes, there will be in-game mission stats. So if you guys want to brag about how many kills you got, how many points you got, anything like that, there'll be an in-game mission stat report to show you, so you can brag if you want to. And then the last bit of information may be a bit controversial. We're going into paid cosmetic territories now, guys. Now, he did say that it will be likely that we will be able to buy real merch for the game. So yeah, if you want to buy real, clothing, in-game stuff in the real world, you can buy that. It's nothing too serious. I'm just joking. So yeah, there will be apparently they'll probably have a store, kind of like how most games have stores for their merchandise. Yes, if you want to buy, hats or shirts or something like that. They said it's likely at some point that there will be those, or will be something like that in game for players. So there is that. So that's all the new information I got for you guys today. Thank you all for watching. Like I said, I'll catch you on the next time. I got another Anthem video coming, and I'm probably going to work on, I have 3 other videos too, and I'm probably going to give everybody all the information on everything we've got so far on the on all the javelins, the information, because we've come a long way from the beginning on all the new information they gave us. So I'm probably going to do a video talking about everything we know so far about the Storm, Colossus, Ranger, and Interceptor. And then on top of that, I have another video for Anthem that I'll be doing as well. So thank you guys for watching. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.